students, today we are going to talk about winter sowing, and we are going to do the milk jug method, which is also called milk jug gardening. Here's my milk jug right here. You can use any kind of jug, whether it's been tea or water. It doesn't necessarily have to be a milk jug. It just looks like a typical milk jug. So I've got 3 jugs right here that I'm going to sow some seeds in, and I'm not going to put every seed in this packet in here because I'm going to save some just in case this method doesn't work for me. But if it does work, it's great. But if it doesn't, I have some additional seeds, and if I can maybe save half for the milk jug and then half for seeding inside as well. Or when there's no chance of frost, you can go ahead and put these out in your garden as well. So there's certain types of seeds that do really well in the milk jug gardening, and some of them are coneflowers, violas, cosmos, cornflower, and coneflower, larkspur, snapdragon, marigolds, scabosia, chamomile, calendula, borage, columbines, milkweed, and then it says other native plants as well, yarrow, echinacea, and rudbeckia. Now I have some seeds that I have here on hand that are included in this list that I'm going to go ahead and get started today, and then I have some that I've ordered that have not arrived yet. So I've ordered some yarrow and I ordered some echinacea. They have not came yet. And violas, I usually go ahead and plant my violas for my zone because I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, zone 8, and I can put violas and pansies out in my zone in the fall. So most of my violas are already in the ground. Now there's actually 3 different methods that you can do for winter sowing. One is just you can just throw your seeds out and then just lightly cover with soil. That is one way that you can do it. And then of course the winter jug, and then you can also just put them in a big container as long as they have something over the top, like some kind of plastic with drainage hose. That would work really well as too. So there's just 3 different types of doing that, but I'm just going to specifically talk about the milk jug. So today, of course, I have my milk jug. I have a Sharpie so I can mark what is in the seeds that are inside my milk jug. I have a couple of different ways to cut my jug. I have scissors, and I have whatever this is called. This is to cut sod, but you know, whatever this jiggy thingy is right here. So we can use this as well. Sometimes I think this is great to get started than the scissors. So we're gonna see which one works best. Who knows? And then I've got one of these too, so I don't have to hold it up as well. Just be careful and don't cut your little fingertips off because that would not be pleasant and that would not be worth winter sowing. And then I have some duct tape to tape it back as well. So there's just some simple steps. So we're going to collect and clean our jug. So we're going to do that. And then you want to cut it in half. So I'm going to say cut in half is about like maybe right here. And then you want to put some drainage hose in the bottom too. So I'm going to have to get it started somehow. Let's just use this. So I'm going to lay it on its side. Move my drink. All of these here too. Daggone it. So I'm going to lay it on its side, and I'm just going to take this and away from my fingers. This works really good. And cut it in half. Like I said, make sure you keep your fingers way away from this sharp blade because I know that this blade is sharp. So you don't want to take it completely all the way off because you want to just kind of like open it up there. And then so you can just open it up like so. See? Jug cut in half. This worked really, really well. And then we're going to put drainage hoses in it too. I'm making a mess. That's from where I cleaned it. All right, so I'm just going to put a couple of holes in here. gracefully by any means. It just shows you that I'm real, right? So I'm just going to put 4 holes in it. Now I'm going to pre-moisten my soil when I put it in here. I'm going to make it a good consistency. You don't want to soak it, but you don't want it dry either. And a good tip that I had learned, like after we close it all the way back up with our duct tape, is to not water it from this top. You do need to keep the top open, because that's your way of, whenever you put it outside, this is the way a little bit of water is going to get in, but it's not going to completely soak it and drown your seeds as well. So they say if you notice that it needs to be watered, to put a container on the bottom and water it that way. I'll show you exactly how I'm going to do that. Okay, so we collected our jug and we cleaned it. So we cut it in half, and then we added the drainage hose. So now we're going to fill it with seed starting mix, and I like to use Espoma. I think this is a great product, and this one is a organic potting mix, but I think it's a seed starting too. I thought it was seed starting. I actually meant to get seed starting, so I don't know if this is going to work for me. I really thought that I ordered seed starting mix. So anyways, for right now, I'm going to go ahead and do these 3 jugs. I think I'm going to go ahead and put them with some of this potting mix, and then I'm going to buy the seed starting mix to put on top. So let's pretend that this is seed starting mix from Espoma. We're going to pretend. I could have sworn that I got the other. Just a little bit bummed. All right, so what I'm going to do is fill this container with my seed starting mix. Like I said, we're going to pretend. So I'm going to have to run to the store. I actually did read that you can use regular potting mix and then put seeds, a couple inches of seed starting on top. But I just do not have any. Okay, so seed starting mix, and then we're going to pre-moisten it. And I've got some water right here. And I actually bought, because I don't have any kind of container I told you I'm not doing this gracefully, you guys. Like, I'm making an absolute mess. We're just keeping it real here because I'm making a mess. Well, anyways, this will help you from not making a mess right here. So I bought this from Amazon, and it's called Azure Blue Repotting Mat. So the material is thick PE fabric, and of course it features that you can do seedlings, potted plants, prune plants, water, transplanting, any kind of thing like that, which does not make a mess. So I can use this inside also. So what you do is just kind of snap these 2 corners together. I'm really not graceful at this right now. My table's dirty too. Okay. So now, if I water it, I'm not going to make a mess, right? So let me put my jug back up here. And I want to make sure that this is moistened all the way through. I guess you could like throw all your seed starting mix in here and mix it all up. That's how I see Laura from Garden Answer do it most of the time. But since I don't even have my right seed starting stuff right now, I'm gonna wait until I'm gonna have to go get some. Okay, so then we have our moistened soil right here. So, I mean, evidently I do need some seed starting mix. So I'm just gonna pretend right now that I'm doing this with seed starting mix. And I apologize, I just realized I did not have the right soil because that's what I thought I ordered from Amazon. All right, so we have our soil in there. And then, like, I just named off some of the seeds that were really good for the winter jug method. And one of those were marigolds. So I have a packet of marigolds right here, and I'm pretty excited about this marigold because this one is called Mission Giant Orange Hybrid. There's 50 seeds in here, so I'm definitely not going to put 50 seeds in here. I might only sow maybe 10 seeds in this one, and then I'll start maybe 20 seeds inside. So this says, outsize mom like 3 inches orange marigolds, add radiant color to your border. Productive, strong-stemmed plants provide base lives of bright flowers all summer long. And I'm going to throw a picture up there. And this one gets 35 to 40 inches tall. So I actually almost think I'm going to put these in mixed in with some of my David Austin roses in the formal garden that I have right there. All right, so I don't really like to just tear the seed packet open. I'm just going to cut it like this. And then this one was from Burpee, so I still like to know like where I bought this. And then in my garden journal as well, I'm going to keep a journal to see how everything does. So I'm going to put a date on here too when I winter sowed them and place them outside. So you don't want to overcrowd your seeds in here either, but you can separate them when you're planting them out. So I want to show you what these marigold seeds look like. And you see the marigold seeds right there? They kind of look like zinnia seeds to me, almost. Okay, so then what I would do is that I would place like however many seeds that I want in here, and I would like place them, kind of give them some space in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I'm going to go get me some seed starting stuff too. And then I would, once I get my seeds back in there, then I want to tape this. And I'm going to use regular duct tape for that. Make it long enough to where it's going to go all the way around. It's probably best to have a partner so they could help you do this. I'm going to get it started here and bring it down. You can probably put 2 layers over that if you'd like to. So this is what it's looking like right now. And then you want to make sure you label everything. So we are going to call this one Marigold Mission Giant Orange, and I'm going to put my date on there, which is right now it's 1/26, January 26th is when I'm going to place them out. All right, so that's basically what you do. So we just created a little mini greenhouse. So make sure you keep it open, and then make sure your soil is moist. And this is what I'm planning on doing when I'm gonna water. Like, you need to water from below is the best way. So of course I'm gonna put this here, like wherever I'm gonna put it on the side of the house. I'm gonna put my jug, place it like so, show you, and then I'm gonna water this from below. And I could put probably 2 or 3 in here. And you'll just let it sit and let it absorb all the water, and then that way your seeds won't be completely soaked. Now you don't want to open this up until it's time to plant everything. So my frost date is somewhere around April 8th. I need to look that up and let you know for absolute sure. And then the frost date just gives you an ideal. Like, it could be 2 weeks before, it could be 2 weeks after. So if you want to be absolutely sure that your plants are going to be safe, you might want to wait till 2 weeks after your frost date, or just kind of keep a look out on with the weather. And then you may have to, like, if it's just one day that it's going to be absolutely cold, then you can go and throw like some kind of cover, over that plant so the frost won't get it and all your hard work has like literally gone down the drain. So that is the winter sowing method. And there's so many videos out there, so go ahead and I looked at several just to kind of get an idea of what everybody did and what type of plants that's good to winter sow. So I looked a lot of them up and I pretty much gave you a pretty good idea. Now you want to make sure the sun-loving seeds you do not want to winter sow. And some of the sun-loving seeds that you do not want to sow are your sunflower, zinnias, and celosia. So you want to make sure you save them for either outside when there's no chance of frost, or you can go ahead and get a head start inside under your lighting indoors. So that's pretty much there is all to it. So we're going to get this on the side, but first I've got to go and find me some seed starting and not this potting mix. I'm so disappointed that I didn't even realize that I had bought that, but I guess it's good that I realized it right off the bat, right? So I'm going to go to the store and we'll be right back with the seed starting, and I'm going to show you exactly how we do it and how to put the seeds in with the correct seed starting mix. Alright guys, so it is day 2, and you can see that it's not so sunny on day 2, and you might hear a little bit of the rain. Anyways, I told you that I got the wrong soil, so I had to go get Spoma Organic Seed Starter. This is what I needed. Now, this bag, and it's not a very big bag, was $9.99, as you can see right there. $9.99. So I am feeling like it is not going to be very economical to fill this complete container with nothing but seed starter. So when I was researching different ideas of what to talk about on this video, and by the way, this was just nothing but potting soil. Remember, it wasn't seed starting. It said that in the milk jug containers, I'm going to take this tape back off because we were pretending, remember? That only had the potting soil, I did not have the seed starting. So when I was researching, it said that you can use potting soil in the bottom and put a couple of inches of the seed starting on top. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to try it for this one and see. I've got 6 more jugs down here below me, and I'm going to play around and just kind of see what I really want to do. take this duct tape off completely. If you hear the planes behind me, I apologize. There's just not a whole lot that I could do about the planes. And by the way, this is a utility knife or a box cutter. I called it a jimajiggy, a doomajiggy. That's what my dad used to always say. He called things doomajiggies. That's where I got it from him. This doomajiggy is a utility knife or a box cutter. By the way, when I went to the nursery, they did have a couple of different varieties of organic seed starter, and they were all about the same price. So I know Espoma is a great product, and I trust it and believe in it because I love the other fertilizer and Bitone from organic from Espoma. And like I said, they were all similar in the same price. It wasn't like one was $4.99, vice versa. So the reason why they use seed starting is because it is very well draining. It says improve moisture retention, and it promotes root growth, and it has I think perlite. All right, so I'm gonna put this out of my way. Took my tops off. Went ahead and cut all of my containers in half. Drain holes in the bottom, tops off. So they're all ready to go. So I just need to, like I said, either decide what I'm going to do with the seed starting stuff. So this is a little thing that I got so I can mix my soil up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour all this in here. There we go. This is what it looks like. It's nice and fluffy. Feels good. Actually, if you want to play with dirt, this is some good stuff to play with. All right, and then I'm not sure how much water it's going to take, but we're going to pour some water in here. And we're going to mix it up. Sure this is going to work like I really wanted it to work. Nope. That just made a mess. All right, guys, so this might not be great for this setting because it's not staying up like I wanted it to. Might just make a big old mess. It might be good for just repotting something where you're not actually pouring water into it. So why it won't stay up? No, you're not going to get into this mess. No. All right, so what are some of the reasons that you would do this? For one, it's economical. It's very much easier to buy seeds that are much cheaper. You know, you might buy a seed packet that's anywhere from $1.50 to say $5.50 for a packet of seeds, depending on how many seeds are in there, of course. But just to get you started, say a packet of seeds is going to cost you the most $5.50. So if you go to the store and you buy a whole flat, which is anywhere from say 8 to 10 plants. Right now the going rate for each plant is about $8 to $9. Isn't that crazy? $8 to $9 for a plant. So it's very economical to start seed. It's fun. And what else are you going to do in the wintertime than play in the dirt like this, right? Like, this is fun. So I want to pour enough water in here to not make this completely soaking wet, but enough to where it like holds a form. Like that's probably a good form right there. By the way, it was easier to pour the water in the middle of the dirt and work it as I was pouring a little bit. Maybe that was my mistake. So now this thing's working pretty good. I do never buy milk, and I usually don't buy any kind of jugs like this. But someone said that you can like stop by your local Starbucks, because they're gonna buy milk jugs and they're gonna throw them away no matter what. It's gonna happen. So if you want to try to find some milk jugs, if you don't buy them, you can ask your neighbors or your friends to save them for you. If they buy water, you know, in jugs like this, or if they buy milk or lemonade or sweet tea, unsweet tea, whatever, then you can have someone save them for you. Or like I said, a great idea was someone said that they stop at Starbucks and ask them to save them some containers for a day or so, and they go by and pick it up. So I thought that was a great idea. Okay, so this is my seed starting mix. It's much, much different than this. So you can see that this right here is way more dense. It's got a lot more bark in it, right? So this is good draining soil as well, but it's way different than the seed starting. So that is potting mix from Espoma. So actually, I was glad that I made this mistake. This is potting soil. This is seed starting. Do you see what the difference is right here? A big difference. Potting soil, seed starting soil. So at least you'll know the difference, because if you've never bought this type of potting soil, or if you've never bought the seed starting soil either, like you wouldn't know the difference. So now you know the difference. And this is what I'm going to put my marigolds in. So when I was researching, it said that you can put, because this is a big container, it's way different than just putting this in those small little containers that you start inside under the light, or the, you know, your LED lights. So anyways, I got potting soil at the bottom, and I'm gonna put 2 or 3 inches of this seed starting on top. I'm just gonna fill it to where my rim's gonna be right here. And I'm gonna kind of pack it down. So for me, this is expensive. Like if I use nothing but the seed starting mix all the way down, then I'm gonna go through this like very fast. So, but using my potting soil at the bottom and using my seed starting on top, then I think that's gonna be better. Okay, so there's that. I just need to put it somewhere. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do all of these containers. I'm gonna put my potting soil at the bottom, and I'm just gonna move all this over. Or I can put my potting soil, not my seed starting, my potting soil at the bottom, and then put water into that. Or I can put some soil right here and water that and just kind of have it side by side. For seed starting stuff, someone said that this was not a good idea just to label it like this, because maybe being outside with the Sharpie that it will, you know, make it go away, and you're like, I have no idea what that one is. So what I'm going to do, I bought these for my seed starting kit inside. And I'm going to label this as well and put it inside just in case that this does not work. Might work, I don't know. It's been a while since I did not do seed starting the winter jug last year. So it's been a while since I've done it. So I'm going to do marigold, giant, orange. And I will keep my seed packet. I'm going to keep my seed packet just in case, like I want to go back and reference to whatever I have on this little packet. And I have a cute little box where I have everything stored. See, bloom where you're planted. I love this little saying, especially for my backyard blooms with Kim. Cute, huh? Now, one of the big reasons that I want to start the winter sowing and start some seeds inside is, do you know how many packets of seeds that I planted and nothing came up? So I was looking back at what I planted last year, and I mean, I was just so disappointed that a lot of the stuff, some of it came up, and you know, I am guilty. I probably planted way too much. But that's why I like to start some seeds inside and make sure they've all germinated, and then that way I can keep an eye on them instead of like not knowing what's coming up, because then I'll put like a row and then I'll like label it, but then everything else starts to take over. The sunflowers takes over, or the zinnias take over, or whatever, and you're like, I have no idea what this is, like just none. Now, another tip that I learned from others was not to plant the whole entire 50 seeds in here. So there's 50 in this one. So I'm going to plant maybe 15 in here if I can space them out really good. And then I'm going to start some inside as well. But you guys will not plant all 50. And I could probably do some succession planting also. But I think these orange, big, giant marigolds I'm going to plant with my David Austin roses that I have in my formal garden. I think they would be really pretty. So right now I have some of the alliums that are kind of come up, but once they're done, these should be like starting to take their place. So I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how pretty it is, and if I don't like it, I can dig them up and replant them somewhere else, or I can just dig them up. All right, so like I said, these seeds look like zinnia seeds to me. And it doesn't look like there's 50 in here, but I'm assuming there probably is. All right, now you always read the directions, because some like to be planted a little deeper down into the soil and some like just to be on the surface. So this really doesn't tell you much. Oh yes, it does. It says sow in average soil in full sun after danger of frost, because we're not doing that. We are going to winter sow, and this is our little mini greenhouse right here. Sow from fall to early spring. Sow seeds about 6 inches apart and cover with 1/4 of fine soil. Firm lightly and keep evenly moist. Seedlings emerge 7 to 14 days, and it blooms in the summertime. So like I said, I'm going to do about 15 in here. I got 15 exactly. Is that weird? That's weird, y'all. All right, so I got my seeds in there, just 1/4 inch down. I have this as my backup to label. So they said like one of the very important things is to label. You can't label enough. I've got it labeled inside and labeled it on the outside. I have my top off. I have drainage holes. Now I'm going to put duct tape. We're going to seal it up. One of the tips was like feel how heavy this is right now, and then whenever you're putting it outside, in order for you to know like if it needs to be watered, like you can pick it up and see if it feels heavy or not. So just kind of like judge like how heavy this is right now. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to get started is called scabosia. And this one says sow outdoors in spring in full sun after danger of frost. And then you want to thinly and cover with 1/8 inch of fine soil. So it likes to be really on the surface, and it will emerge 10 to 21 days depending on soil and weather. Of course, like sometimes when you're winter sowing, they're just going to sit there until the weather starts to warm up, and then they may start to germinate. So let me know in comments if this was helpful, if you liked this video. But even if you didn't get anything out of it and you watched it till this point, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to me, please. Like I said, it always helps me with my YouTube, and the more likes and the more subscribers I have, the easier it gets out into the YouTube world. And like I said, it always lets me know if I'm doing a good job for you. And like, put in comments like what is good for, other than what I have said, what are you winter sowing? Or just let me know like what you're winter sowing right now, and when do you start winter sowing? Like, do you do it right now? It's the end of January, almost the first part of February. Do you do it in January, February, or like, I mean, even some colder people, like, it doesn't matter if you have snow on the ground, you guys, like, you can do this now, even though you have snow. And then I'm going to put these containers up against the house. And another thing that I got conflicting information is that what I read was to place outside against a building out of direct sun and wind. Now I've heard that. Now this is what I saw like on one of my things that I was reading. And then I heard some people say that they put it in direct sun. So I don't know. Like, I guess as long as it's exposed to the elements, then it should be good. So I'm going to put mine on the side of the house. This side of the house gets some morning sun and afternoon shade. So, and if it rains, it's still going to like get down into that top hole as well. And you got to make sure you take your lids off. Make sure you take the lids off. So like I said, make sure you have drainage holes, because if you don't, that's not going to be good. Then all your seeds will get waterlogged or whatever, and then they'll suffocate. They won't suffocate, they'll just die. So you can see it's kind of draining right now from where I watered this. So it's draining. And then it's not necessary to poke holes up here, is what I have read. Make sure it's sealed with duct tape. Make sure you label. And yeah, good luck to everybody. So I'm excited. Like, this makes me happy. At least I'm doing something. And then if I grow something from seed, that it makes you feel good, it's fun, it's cheap. What do you got to lose? Like, if it doesn't work, you're out of what, $3 to $5 or whatever. And then, you know, the jugs aren't going to cost you anything anyways, because either you are getting them from neighbors, or you're saving them for yourself, or you're going to Starbucks and picking up some from Starbucks. Yeah. So I'm going to get the rest all planted up and labeled, and then when I put it on the side of the house, I'll show you an in picture or a little video of that. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.